Hi, I am Cardinal Dr. Elizabeth Samantha Rothschild Judge. Let's talk about social appraisal values because that will help us define recovery from COVID-19 versus someone just following instructions to be included. This is a good lesson for those of us who are free and clear of contamination of COVID-19. We have all the way up to our booster and things of that nature. Social appraisal value, being honest about it, will keep you from contracting COVID-19 as well. It builds up a defense by the intellectual endorphins in the brain, providing impact whereby our immune system is boosted against that syndrome. Okay? Social appraisal values. I'll use myself for example. I am a cardinal, so hanging out with clergy, my social appraisal puts me among the archbishops, bishops, and cardinals, and really some bishops depending on their capacities as well. Being a general across the board, whereby my service into the United States of America transfers into 19 stars. That means hanging out with a first lieutenant is an imbalance. So for me, I have to maintain at my social standard because that's where my peer group is found, in there, not from who I'm around all the time or who comes around me. It's about what my actual appraisal is socially. Also, when it comes to degrees, intelligence, a bachelor degree is not the same compatible as a PhD. Just having a certificate or a license is not the same as a registration when it comes to nursing. When it comes to degrees, you have your at your associate's capacity, which is nowhere near a PhD, and I have 99 PhDs, so that would abide my peer group by social appraisal. And with looks, someone ugly, just because they fine naturally, or even if they got glamour, does not compare to where I am beautiful. We're talking about face. Okay, and then body is not the same as someone who's gotten altered, because I've never been altered. Okay, so that would put me in the peer group of understanding whereby there's appearance. And as far as money, so your intellectual capacity commands how much you are worth with your intellectual propriety. Intellectual property, it's a such thing, and it's worth money. So is time values. You know, time has value. So with those things, with the rates of my law firm being what they are, that's greater than someone who's charging $33 per billable hour, because my rates are really up there. So at a business capacity, that is not my equal. When you can accept what your true appraisal is put all together, then you know where to socialize. As far as being economical, it's for anyone to not waste and not use a lot of things if they don't have to. So economically, to be an economist, a person who can keep up the best social appraisal with the least amount of money is the leading economist. So that's just like a matter of even if a person has good credit, they can go and get a loan, but based on their income, they can only get a loan for $500,000, whereas me paid out cash for a $10 million home. That is not the same balance. Those things should not even be compared. That is what impairs the brain and sets off those toxins that induce susceptibility to the COVID-19 virus. So being where we are at capacity, and even saying relationally, when it comes to, and like I said, I'm using myself, when it comes to a man, his appraisal counts for me if we're together as a couple. If there's a man that I'm interested in and he would actually consider a relationship with someone who is not at my social appraisal, then that means that he's not good enough for me. Keeping all things even. Now, not to say a man wouldn't go and, just know some people for whatever their companionship is, but to think of someone who's not at my capacity the same way he thinks of me, well, that is idolatry, and that is an imbalance of Socioeconomic Institute, and we have to bear into our social appraisal. So just take, for instance, people who, domestic goddesses, you have a husband and he's taking care of you. What I want you to know is, if you are not qualified by all of your social appraisal and intellectual propriety, or even the money you make inside of it, to receive gifts from him of high end. So if he can afford to buy a $60,000 car for you, but really if you were by yourself, you would only be able to afford a $30,000 car, well, he's not entitled to give you that $60,000 car, because you're not worth that possession. Not that he wouldn't love you enough to do it, but you got to be at your balance where you are. So it's about economy, it's about social appraisal, it's about all of those things, intellectual propriety, that makes up an appraisal. So when people are going to hang out together, and especially when there's benefit for all the friends in the group and everything, it has to be the same social balance. So I wear my titles all the time because I'm around people and I can't avoid persons. Like, I'm staying at the Patricia Handy Place shelter, so when people come around me, I may not necessarily be able to avoid being in the environment with them and becoming indirectly involved, because I can't remove myself from the situation. So I have to wear my titles all the time so people can understand I'm not here in the capacity of being your friend or getting to know you or wanting to know anybody that's not already at the capacity where I am, or cannot so easily make it to that capacity in the short-coming future. So that's something to keep into consideration. It boils down to ranks too. It's all that. So you have to receive what you're worth. And when dealing with tax exempt, even with spending your own money, you should only purchase what you're qualified to wear. Just because you got a Coach purse for free does not mean that you qualify to be carrying Coach. So you can't afford one for yourself, never bought one for yourself, but if you get one from the donation room, that does not mean that you're worth Coach. It just means that you lucked into something. Me, on the other hand, if I get something high end, I'm qualified to wear it. And the things that are low end, that's because that's all there was available to me, considering the conditions and situation I'm in. So let that be a lesson to everybody, right? Y'all have a great day.